Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about the transit of Rahu in Aquarius, Ketu in Leo. So this will occur from May 18th of 2025 till December 5th of 2026. And this is a very interesting transit because Rahu is entering into its own sign of Aquarius, where it feels most at home. So this is a very powerful Rahu as we move ahead into this transit. And definitely Rahu in Aquarius is all about being unique, creative, futuristic. It's a trend-setting position. We're also going to see on the opposite end of this K2 in Leo, which is also a very interesting position. This is a position of stepping down in status, in position, of letting go of past traditions. So with this transit, there's a lot of this windy energy that's going on because Rahu is a windy planet coming into this air sign of Aquarius. So there's a lot of intellectual energy, this inquisitive energy, again, of moving ahead, moving forward with this. And with that, there's a need to let go of the past, to do some grieving, healing, to really go through the emotional growth in order to move forward. So, for those of you who are really dealing with heavy setbacks at this time, it's all about letting go of that, working through that, healing that, so that you have a path to work your way forward. So, if you like this video so far, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Now, we're also going to talk about Rahu entering into the different nakshatras. So Rahu is going to move ahead into the Aquarius section of Purva Bhadrapada. It's been here in Pisces, but especially here in the section of Purva Bhadrapada, this is a very intense placement. There's definitely a need to be cautious of your decisions. There can be a lot of impulsive decision making or a lot of overthinking at this time, of getting too stuck in thought, being overly critical. A lot of mental energy that can lead to heavy exhaustion if we're not controlling this. So definitely there's a need to slow down a little bit and to take the time to process and to make careful decisions. This becomes extremely important. But Rahu in Purva Bhadrapada definitely encourages creativity, spirituality, knowledge. So for those of you who are into the arts, who are into education fields, who are into all forms of spirituality and metaphysics, this is an excellent time. It's also an excellent time for anyone who is nurturing, who is all about giving back to humanity, showing compassion at a human level. This becomes very important during this transit. As we move ahead into Rahu and Shatabhisha, this is also going to be a very important transit that's centered around human rights, that's centered around unfairness, justice. All of this comes to the forefront. And along with this, again, this is a great time for anyone who is into the arts because, again, Aquarius is a sign that it's all about being creative, about doing things that are unconventional. This is definitely a placement as well where you want to be careful about holding on to emotions or numbing out the pain. Definitely avoiding any kind of toxins, addiction, substances at this time becomes extremely important. But this is all about rejecting old, outdated systems and really moving ahead, being independent, doing something that is outside the norms with this placement becomes extremely important. As we move ahead into Rahu and Dhanishtha here on the Aquarius side, we're also going to see this when we enter into Rahu in Capricorn in 2026. We're going to see this in the Capricorn side, but here in the Aquarius side, it's definitely all about taking action to build success. And it's also about bringing people together, about group scenarios, connecting with other people. This is very prominent theme for Rahu and Dhanishtha. Definitely during this time, because this is a Mars-ruled nakshatra, this is all about conflict, competition, about really putting forth effort to move ahead. And there's a lot of this intellectual power, especially again here on this Aquarius side, using logical thinking, using your skills to your advantage becomes very important. Again, not getting trapped into all of this overthinking, which can get you stuck, which can hinder your growth, hinder your ability to come up with creative ideas. So allowing things to flow, to really be in the correct timing becomes very important. Taking your chances on opportunities, taking risk during this time and not missing out on those important opportunities. This is a time that also is about knowing the right areas to invest your time, energy, money. Again, it's all about the right timing. So, this is definitely going to show you where things are not working in your life and how you need to shift this energy into a brand new direction. So, let's talk about what happens if you have this in the sign of Aries. So, this will be for anyone who has their ascendant or moon sign in Aries. Now, Rahu is going to be entering into your 11th house, and it's also a co-lord of the 6th house. So this is definitely going to bring up some insecurities around wealth, stability for some of you, and it's all about finding your rhythm in terms of equal give and take. So not giving out too much, not taking too much, finding that place of harmony and balance becomes very important. This is also a time that's going to bring a lot of joy, optimism, success into your life. It's all about abundance and positivity. So, this is actually a great time for good fortune in your life. But definitely, it's a time of being cautious of overcommitting, over giving to others, keeping yourself very organized in how you approach things, having a sense of focus in your direction becomes very important. Taking care of your well being becomes very important at this time. For those of you who have a Taurus moon or Taurus ascendant, this will occur in your 10th house here with Rahu's transit, and this is also a co-lord of your 5th house. So this is a very auspicious transit for many of you. Now, there may be a feeling that some of your accomplishments, goals have not been recognized by others. There can be setbacks, frustration coming into this transit as well. And there's definitely a need for you to have more confidence, more belief in yourself at this time, and to really persist forward with your goals, even if there are obstacles, delays in the way. This becomes extremely important. This is definitely a time of ending out an old cycle in your life and starting something brand new. So, being very mindful about letting go of the past and embracing these new opportunities out in front of you becomes extremely important. Embracing the things that you desire, embracing the things that you want to achieve at this time is very important. And also incorporating this into your groups, your connections, having this sense of unity becomes very important as well. This may be a time where there is some uncertainty around finances as well, but this is leading up to your ability to become financially independent or to become self-reliant. So there's definitely something strong here about standing on your own, about pursuing your ambitions at this time that become very important. For those of you with a Gemini moon or Gemini ascendant, Rahu will be entering into your 9th house, and Rahu is the lord of your 4th house as well. So very auspicious placement for many of you. This is definitely going to be a time that is all about bringing a sense of balance into your life. So many of you may be juggling different priorities at this time, and it's all about being adaptable. Going with the flow of all of these changes becomes very important. So this is definitely a time of finding a sense of balance and harmony in the midst of various changes going on in your life. And it's all about prioritizing the things that really matter to you rather than trying to juggle too many things at once. This is also a time that's going to emphasize your emotions very strongly. Some of you, in regards to relationships, there may be some feeling of insecurity, lack of trust, or oversensitivity, having these strong reactions in relationships, clinging, attaching yourself to relationships too strongly. And it's all about prioritizing your own needs, your own emotions at this time. This is definitely a time where there's going to be new opportunities. So jumping in and embracing some of these new opportunities becomes very important. Some of you are getting new creative ideas. You're feeling renewed at this time. You're looking towards the positive side of life at this time, definitely. But again, this is a time that's all about moving towards the new situation. So there may be some sense of pain, of loss at this time as you have to let go of a chapter that is closing in your life and really focus towards moving forward. For those of you with a Cancer moon or Cancer ascendant, Rahu is going to be entering into your eighth house and is also a co-lord of your third house. This is a time where there may be some sense of uncertainty in terms of what you're getting back in return for your actions, your hard work. Some of this feels a little bit scattered up in the air at this time, but it's definitely a time of completion, of ending out old cycles in your life to prepare for a new beginning. So you're on the cusp here of something new that is happening. You're going to see some positive outcomes from your actions at this time. It's all about embracing the things that you desire, embracing your ambitions, moving forward at this time, and a sense of unity, bringing other people on board as well as you work towards your goals. So definitely this is going to be a time where there's going to be a lot of swift movement and action. You're moving towards these goals very strongly. This may also be a time for some of you where you're receiving some news that you've been waiting on for a very long time now. So definitely you're in a position of power as you move forward towards your goals. Very powerful transit for many of you. Those of you who have a Leo moon or Leo ascendant, Rahu will be entering into your seventh house and also co-rules your second house. So this is definitely a time of renewal in your life, a time where there's a need for healing, for looking on the bright side of things. And so definitely this is an end to a lot of difficult situations in your life. And it's all about having a sense of faith and trust and patience in the process. This becomes very important. Some of you may also receive a sign, a symbol from the universe of some of this renewal and new beginning that's coming into your life. This is definitely a time also of rethinking your decisions. So some decisions from the past may turn out to be the wrong decisions, and there's some need for revision at this time. It also can be a great time of adventure, of you really moving ahead, taking risks, being confident, daring at this time. So there's a willingness here to take on challenges that can lead to some success. But again, before taking this action, there's a need to revise some of your past decisions. For Virgo moon or Virgo ascendant, Rahu will be entering into your sixth house. Very powerful position for Rahu. And of course, Rahu also is the co-lord of your first house as well. So this can show that there is a sense of imbalance coming into your life, some difficulties that you have to focus on at this time. This may make you feel a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit disorganized in a sense, but there's a need for self-care, a need to bring this sense of balance into your life. For some of you, a need to bring in a support system to help you to work through this at this time as well, to manage your time better. So this is definitely a time of overcoming many obstacles and challenges with Rahu here in this sixth house. Avoiding fear of change, avoiding a lack of taking action, of feeling stuck at this time becomes very important. There's a need to remove some of the blockages and obstacles in your life so that you can move towards new opportunities. This can also be a time where your wealth is a little bit uncertain for some of you. There's a need to avoid debt and to focus heavily on security. This becomes extremely important. So focusing on your long-term financial goals at this time and paying attention to how you're spending wealth can become very important for many of you. For those of you with a Libra moon or Libra ascendant, Rahu's going to shift into your fifth house and is also the co-lord of your 12th house as well. Now, this may be a time where you're lacking a little bit of focus and direction. There may be some procrastination at this time and a difficulty with finding your footing. So there's definitely a need to find a sense of balance and structure in your life. This becomes very important. And to take some of those ideas that you're having, there's a lot of mental energy here, and to turn it into something concrete so that you can move towards success. This can also be a time of uncertainty in terms of wealth as well. There's a need for equal give and take in your relationships. This becomes very important. But definitely, this is a time of new beginnings. This is a time of you really working on yourself, especially in the area of relationships and dealing with your emotions. There is a need here for some growth. So many of you coming into some great awareness at this time in terms of how you're dealing with your emotions. This can bring you a sense of inner peace and joy at this time as well, along with bringing in some new connections into your life. For those of you with a Scorpio moon or Scorpio ascendant, Rahu will be shifting into your fourth house and is also the co-lord of your 11th house. This can be a time where you're lacking structure or where you're misusing your energy, your power at this time. There's a need to pull back a little bit, to be less impulsive with your decision making at this time becomes very important, and to really bring in a sense of order and structure into your life as well. To not harshly judge or criticize others, but to really focus on your own development becomes very important. This may also be a time where you're feeling a bit nostalgic. It's bringing you back to the past, to your childhood, to the things that you feel strongly connected to that give you a sense of comfort. So there can be also some people coming into your life from the past at this time as well. But it's really about embracing your inner child, embracing those times when things were more simple, and finding that sense of happiness within yourself. You want to avoid any kind of obsession, addiction, clinging at this time as well. There can be some unhealthy habits that are coming in with this transit. This is definitely a time also where you can focus heavily on relationships, on finding a sense of balance in partnerships at this time, or simply finding a sense of self-love within yourself. But there's some big decisions here that need to be made, and very carefully making very wise decisions, following your heart, your intuition becomes very important. For those of you with a Sagittarius moon, Sagittarius ascendant, this will be Rahu entering into your third house. Rahu also co-lords your 10th house as well. This can bring a sense of imbalance into your life. And for some of you, there's a need to take accountability, to be very honest with yourself at this time. There can also be a little bit of instability in terms of finances or in terms of emotional security at this time as well. So there's definitely a need to find a sense of stability in these areas, in relationships, in financial management. This becomes very important. But this is a time where this gives you an opportunity for many of you to master your emotions, to master your sense of compassion at this time becomes extremely important. And this can also bring in a focus around relationships, whether that be partnerships, romantic relationships, platonic relationships, finding a sense of compromise and reconciliation in some of these relationships becomes very important. So there's a strong need to really connect with others and to find a sense of peace and balance in these areas. This can bring in new relationships for some of you as well. For those of you with a Capricorn moon or Capricorn ascendant, Rahu is entering into your second house and co-lords your ninth house. This can bring in a little bit of hesitation in terms of moving forward. You can be holding on to the past a little bit during this time. So there's definitely a need for some change during this transit. And this is a time, especially when it comes to relationships, finding the courage to leave behind those situations that are no longer serving you. This can also show that you're avoiding some difficult decisions that need to be faced at this time. So, this can create an internal struggle within yourself that needs to be resolved. This is definitely a time where there feels like there's too many choices, too many options in front of you at this time. And so you can be dreaming, envisioning many possibilities in your life, but there's a need to make a solid decision in order to move forward. Definitely during this time you want to distinguish the difference between imagination and reality. Again, making those dreams very tangible become important during this time. This is definitely feeling like a strong time of needing to make a solid decision. You're sitting on the fence, weighing your options. Some of you avoiding taking this step to make this decision. And this can also bring in a focus around relationships as well. So there may be some new relationships coming into your life, romantic, platonic, or business partnerships. So this is a great time to bring in a sense of compromise and to strongly connect with others as well. For those of you with an Aquarius moon, Aquarius ascendant, Rahu will be entering into your first house and also co-lords your eighth house. This can bring in a lot of obsession, for some of you, addiction, unhealthy habits, compulsive behaviors, things that you really want to rein in on at this time. This is also a very nostalgic time for some of you as well, where you're thinking back to your childhood, to your memories, the things that bring you a sense of comfort at this time. So it may be also a time of reconnecting with old friends, returning to old situations in your life to get that sense of comfort. It's all about finding that sense of happiness and simplicity within yourself. Connecting back to your inner child becomes extremely important. This can be a time of emotional instability, of difficulty managing your emotions. So there can be some instability in areas of relationships, career, and other areas of your life. So it's all about finding that ability to overcome those challenges, to control your emotions, to embrace your emotions, and to heal in this way. For those of you with a Pisces moon or Pisces ascendant, Rahu will be entering into your 12th house and also co-lords your 7th house. So definitely this can be a time of loss for some of you, a loss of direction, a loss of energy, loss of control. You want to be careful about addiction, about unhealthy habits during this time, but you also want to watch out for feelings of being overwhelmed and stuck, of self-doubt, lack of confidence for some of you. So, overcoming some of these temporary setbacks in your life and making the adjustments so that you can move forward become very important. This can be a great time for you to develop your skills as well, to really focus on your goals, and building a stronger foundation becomes very important. It's a time to practice and to learn, to reach a sense of mastery. This can also be a time where there is an imbalance once again in overindulgence and unhealthy habits. So finding a sense of moderation, of balance becomes very important for many of you. If you have Rahu transiting over your natal sun, this can also bring a sense of insecurity for some of you, a lack of direction. And so there's a need to really trust within yourself to find your sense of intuition at this time. Rahu transiting over your natal moon can make you very much grounded in the physical reality at this time. It's all about nurturing personal growth and stability. This becomes very important. If you have Rahu transiting over your natal Mars, then it's all about finding a sense of balance and understanding how your actions result in certain consequences. So, needing to be very objective and taking the time to make responsible decisions become very important. This is also an important time of letting go of feelings from the past, of loss, of regret, of resentment, of missing out on opportunities, disappointment, and to move on from some of these really painful situations as well. If Rahu's transiting over your natal Mercury, this is definitely going to bring up relationships very strongly in your life. Connecting with others becomes very important. This may be a time of business partnerships, of platonic relationships, romantic relationships for many of you. So, definitely focusing on compromise and connecting with others becomes very important. If Rahu's transiting over your natal Jupiter, there can be some confusion at this time, making the wrong decisions, trusting in the wrong people. So you want to have some sense of discernment. This becomes very important. This can lead to missing out on opportunities due to a lack of focus for some of you as well. So, a need to really consider some of your decisions at this time. This also, though, can bring in a sense of enthusiasm. You're very optimistic at this time about new opportunities, especially if you're involved in any kind of creative endeavors in your life. It's a time of exploration, a time of excitement, of trying out new things in your life at this time. But definitely a time of being careful about what you commit to as well. There can be a feeling of overwhelm, of taking on too many burdens at this time. For those of you who have Rahu transiting over Venus in your chart, this can definitely connect you with the past, with your childhood, with the things that really bring you joy and comfort. So, this can also involve reconnecting with old friends, old partners, going back to old places, things that really remind you of your past memories. It's definitely a time that also gives you the ability to overcome some of the difficulties of the past, to really heal and rebuild, to get ready for a fresh new start. So it shows the ability to survive some of the difficulties. You have a lot of resilience with this transit. Definitely there is a feeling of there's no way to overcome some of the situations. You're unable to move from this situation of changes that are coming into your life. And this can bring in some new relationships as well, but there's a need to focus on how you can relate to others. There may be some challenges for some of you in this area. If Rahu's transiting over your natal Saturn, then this can bring a crisis, a dramatic change into your life. It's a time for transformation, renewal, taking on new opportunities in your life. So, definitely for some of you, this can be a very difficult time. If you're holding on to the past, a feeling of loss, a feeling of disappointment, of suffering at this time can take place. So, it's all about embracing the new, embracing some of these changes that are coming into your life. If Rahu's transiting over your natal Rahu, then it's a time of trusting your intuition. Trusting your wisdom at this time becomes very important. Pulling from those experiences that you have and really trusting your guts. This is connecting you very strongly to the higher guidance in your life. It's all about being still, taking the time to reflect, and again, to listen to your inner voice. So, this can take you inward at this time. This also is about embracing your potential. And for some of you, this may be a time where you're feeling stuck, where you're feeling restricted by circumstances. And it's all about avoiding negative self talk and limiting beliefs at this time. Definitely about breaking through those limitations and moving forward. For those of you who have Rahu transiting over your natal Ketu, this can be a time where you have a lot of passion, where you're very action oriented. You're desiring to experience something new in your life. So, this can be a period of change and opportunity coming into your life for sure. You're willing to take on new risk opportunities, especially in the area of career. This can be seen. If Ketu is transiting over your natal sun, it's all about being practical and grounded in your decision making. So, this definitely can bring in a sense of stability, and it's about nurturing your sense of material and personal stability very strongly. Avoiding any kind of obsession, addiction, compulsive behaviors also becomes important as well. This can bring up some insecurities around wealth for some of you, but it's definitely about equal give and take. And once again, this is a time of building your sense of material stability. If Ketu is transiting over your natal moon, it's a time of creating a sense of balance and understanding how your actions have consequences. So, making the right decisions at this time becomes extremely important. This can also be a time of some disappointment, let down, sorrow for some of you. So it's about healing so that you can move towards personal growth and success in your life. This is definitely a time where many of you desire a sense of security. And you want to be careful about hoarding, about holding on to things from the past that no longer serve you, as this can hinder your growth and bring you into a period of stagnation as well. This can be a time of missing out on opportunities by clinging to the past. So it's all about being unconventional, doing things differently with this transit. And this can result in abundance and success in building a strong, long lasting legacy for many of you as well. Ketu is going to be transiting over Mars in your chart, then this can bring a sense of imbalance in your life. You want to be careful about overindulgence, making sure you have a sense of balance and moderation, and all things become important. This is also a time to be careful about taking cruel action, incorporating empathy, emotional intelligence, sensitivity, and the ability to really connect with other people's emotions become very important for you. If Ketu is transiting over your natal Mercury, then this is a time where you're taking some swift action in your life. You're very determined and focused on your goals at this time. You're very willing to take on challenges, to take risk at this time. So, this is a great time for you to move forward. However, there may be some delays, obstacles coming into the picture as well. So, not letting some of these setbacks discourage you become important. Taking the time to self reflect and to trust in your intuition when making some of these decisions become important. If you have Ketu transiting over your natal Jupiter, then this can be a time where you're very content with where you are having a lack of motivation to move forward for some of you. But it also can be a time for others of you where you're just appreciating where you are in the present moment. This is definitely a time to work through some emotional insecurities as well, really focusing on those blockages and pushing through some of these difficulties. Healing at this time becomes important, especially in the area of relationships. This is also a time where you want to be careful about being overly optimistic, overly confident. Really taking the time to ground yourself in reality becomes very important. Making sure you have that clear perspective before jumping into situations. But ultimately, again, this is a time of happiness, of healing, of new beginnings coming into your life. You're overcoming some of the difficulties and challenges and moving forward. And this requires a sense of faith, trust, and patience in the process. If you have Ketu transiting over your natal Venus, this is definitely a time where you're able to resolve conflicts and difficulties in your life. So, for those of you who have been going through some difficulties here in the past, you're finding the resolution to those difficulties at this time. And definitely, it's a time to let go of resentment, to forgive, to move on from situations as well, especially in the area of relationships. Again, as you find the conclusion to some of these difficulties, it's also about letting go and moving on from this. If Ketu's transiting over your natal Saturn, then this can bring definitely a lack of stability and harmony in your life. You may feel isolated, like you don't have the support that you want at this time. There can be a feeling of not fitting in, of running into conflicts in some of your connections at this time. So there's a need to really go inward and to reassess your situation and to make some adjustments so that you can find that sense of balance and stability. If K2 is transiting over your natal K2, then this can show that you are avoiding conflicts, disagreements in your life, and there's a need to really focus on facing some of those conflicts, addressing those emotional situations, healing, and dealing with unresolved trauma at this time, not holding on to bitterness and resentment.